Saw dudes, a long time ago I released a build video for Hydroid Prime since his rework made him an amazing frame. He went from 0 to hero and now I needed to take him to level cap. This stress test was definitely interesting and got me out of my comfort zone, so I'm super happy to share it. I had to test a lot of different loadouts and builds, but the final product is something I'm confident in sharing. Let's get started. The Hydroid Prime build focuses on spamming his Tempest Barrage to saturate areas. This will remove the armor from every enemy except Acolytes and prep for Plunder activation. You'll notice that I subsumed off Tidal Surge for Breach Surge. This provides an alternate form of CC, but also synergizes extremely well with Tempest Barrage for spark generation. Hydroid doesn't need much strength or range, so the remaining mod space goes towards survivability and energy conservation. Arcanes are flexible for the most part. At the very least, I would recommend taking Molt Efficiency since it increases ability duration if shields are maintained. This will reduce the need to recast his core abilities and save energy over time. Arcane Energize is nice, but not required. It can be swapped for a damage arcane if needed. As for Archon Shards, my loadout was a mess. Let's start with the good options, then work our way to alternatives. First off, we have a Casting Speed Shard. This will make your life a lot easier and reduce your effective downtime. Ability Duration Shards will reduce the need to recast abilities and make your life easier. The other two slots can be taken up by whatever you want. I use Mini Equilibrium Violets to turn health orbs into more energy, which synergizes with Synth Deconstruct on my companion. Cedo is my primary weapon and was mainly used for viral priming. While this build can kill easily, it wasn't used much in the footage just because I didn't see much of a need for it. If you plan to use this more, make sure you slot in Vigilante Supplies for the ammo mutation and extra crit bonus. In the secondary slot, I took a step back and used something else other than the Latum. This time, I used Prisma Angstrum and Carnon. The evolutions I used were Paladin Virtue, Rapid Reinforcement, and Critical Parallel. Looking back, I should have swapped Paladin Virtue for Haven Foray because of the energy requirement, but that's just me being stupid. The reason why I used Prisma Angstrum was that the Incarnon mode has multiplicative scaling. The build itself is pretty standard. Keep in mind though that the normal mode kind of sucks. Also, please use Steady Hands or else you will get uppercut by the recoil in Incarnon mode. Finally, I used Praedos as my melee weapon. The evolutions I used were Drifting Grace, Shockwave Synergy, Evolved Ascension, and Universal Readiness. In all honesty, I use this for the faster parkour velocity and sprint speed. The mods are just for shredding low tier fodder, especially when they are armor stripped. Finally, we got the Panzer build. You'll notice that we have Synth Deconstruct on the build to create more health orbs for energy conservation via Equilibrium. The rest of the build is standard and serves to buff our weapons. Tenacious Bond and Reinforced Bond increase our crit damage and fire rate respectively. The focus goal is Madurai since we don't need Unairu for the armor strip. We already have Hydroid Prime for that. It's used to increase casting speed, ability strength, and delete Thrax units. You will want to use Contamination Wave on Thrax units to get the most damage out of your amp. If you're having trouble with Thrax later on, you will need to use Void Strike. The amp I used was the standard 1-4-7 or Sur's Brace, Raplac Prism, and Fat Scaffold. You can one-shot Thrax with a headshot in lower levels. You will need to depend on Void Strike after about level 5000, and I may try another combination later on. If I do change it, I will let you guys know. I use Magus Cloud, Magus Lockdown, Eternal Eradicate, and Eternal Onslaught as my operator arcanes. Okay, now let's go over the run. First of all, Hydroid is super viable right now. His kit is amazing all around and works well in usual Steel Path missions. However, he's not really built for endurance missions, especially in mobile defense-esque missions like Void Cascade. He's best off in a full squad on a stationary defense target. As the mission went on, I found it hard to stay alive, since Hydroid lacks solid damage potential and damage mitigation. I had to fix the damage issue a little by subsuming Breach Surge over Tidal Surge. The sparks emitted from enemies can do great damage after stripping armor, but it's only a band-aid fix. That being said, he is amazing at defense stripping enemies. Hydroid Prime can fire and forget Tempest Barrage and let it do the work by applying corrosive stacks. If you wanted to, you could use Viral Tempest to apply viral stacks at the same time. Plunder is also a great asset to have since it applies corrosive damage to weapons, meaning you can mod for any other elemental combo. Now you can have viral, radiation, heat, cold, and other damage types for different factions. So would I recommend him for endurance missions? Maybe, but depends on which types. For survival and defense, he's a solid choice, assuming you can camp and play safe. For Void Cascade, you can use him, but that doesn't mean you should. I hope this video helped. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you for watching and happy farming. Stay safe.
fertilizer spent.